Everything you've heard about the KISS years and the KISS stage shows and the spectacle is true. It's not a legend. We're going to show every new band how the big boys do it.
Announced on April 1st, the release of the next Off the Soundboard, Donington, was announced and would arrive to us on June 10th. So this was a big one. I think as soon as we all started talking about Off the Soundboard, are we going to get some reunion stuff? Are we going to get a classic era? So once we saw that it was a 96 show, I think for most people, like, I don't care if it was Toledo, Ohio, and it was some, Lost Cities tour. We wanted a release of Off the Soundboard being from the original lineup and the reunion lineup. So what did everybody, was this a jump on board instantly, regardless of what the sound quality was? So I'm seeing everybody nod their head. So let's just start with Pasquale on this one. Donington, where were you?
Donington. It was definitely a jump on board right away. I got the black vinyl, the color, and the CD. I did that for all the soundboards, and loved that particular show. So I thought it sounded really, really good. And again, right, I also collect bootlegs, so I'm used to poor quality sounding bootlegs. Mm-hmm. And this is like, yeah, it's off the soundboard. You can't expect it to be perfect like the Alive albums, but it sounded really good. I really enjoyed the music, and it's nice to have a soundboard with the original members there.
Mm-hmm. Claudio.
Yeah, same here. To me, it was a no-brainer. I was a bit afraid, like Nick said before, because we didn't buy Virginia. Maybe they're gonna stop, but they did continue. So. Having Donington and having something from the reunion tour, to me, was a no-brainer. I jumped right away and really happy. I've been spinning, this set, for the longest time, and still listening to it. I really love it. I love it.
Yeah, Rob, this caused some quite excitement in our household.
Yeah, more than what we've said about the reviewing it on the show.
Right.
It was everything that went around it, from the time that I texted Nick to what transpired, is one of my favorite moments that we've recorded on the show. Yeah. And I wish there was audio of the text message exchange that was going on.
Yeah, I was, Rob texted me and my son was asleep, and I just started like emphatically going, Donington. I was knocking on his door, and I go, dude, the next soundboard is Donington. And he's like,
I know you guys have heard that show, but I remember the only words were Donington. I'm like, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I've never heard of it. Is it a person? Is it a place? Is it a code word? Is the house on fire? Is it a disease? God forbid. What's going on?
Yeah, I was, my biggest, the best time I've ever had with the band was that 96 reunion tour, because
nice.
I did not get to see them in their heyday.
Not when I came around, huh? Nice. Really?
Even though I was a fan since like 75, but that was like the greatest concert odyssey of my life. And so I remember being on a forum, and, there's some people in the know, and they kind of tell you, and the questions were always asked, would there be a reunion show? And it always got shot down. Like, no, that's not going to be in the plan. And there's always this, I think, thought process that these Off the Soundboard shows were just going to be the band as they are now, and they weren't going to go back too far in the past. So this was my favorite moment of the year. And like you guys, I love this. I think the set sounds great. It's a little unpolished at times. The bass is a little heavy, Gene, but it's perfect. And if I have one gripe, it's that, New York Groove, Beth, and Either I Stole Your Love or Rock Bottom aren't in it, because it's a festival show. And I'm still hoping at some point in the future we get another reunion show release with possibly video. But this for me was my favorite moment of the year.
It's a really good one. Yeah, it's up there for me too, because of the excitement for us three, and I assume for everyone on here that went into it, but also it sounds so good. Much like Claudia was saying, it's one that I'm going back to. It's probably the one I've went back to the most of the whole series. And I do know for a lot of KISS fans like you, this is like the one thing you wish you could have had. And I know when we did a show, I think last year, if there were a couple things under the tree, what would you like? And I think you both shared something from the reunion tour. So a few months later, half a year later, it actually came. And so it was really cool. And it was also one of the most fun to listen to, because the way the band was. Yeah. I've never heard Paul like swear before. So like to hear that a couple times was fun. To hear some of the stage banter was really fun. And then some of those versions of those songs with these four guys specifically at that time was really cool.
Yep. All right, so I make no bones about it that my favorite, well, not necessarily my favorite era of Kiss, but my sweet time with Kiss was on the reunion tour. And I've stated many times in previous podcasts that I am waiting for, now we're going to the physical media, and I know they're doing box sets and off the soundboard, but somehow, sometime, I want a reunion show tour in pristine Blu-ray, and I want the accompanying CD to match it. I don't know why they've never done it. And I was at those early shows, you know, for that first year. And if you go back and you listen to some of the bootlegs, they're playing pretty well. Sure, it's a little sloppy, but that's Kiss. And that's the four of those guys together. And I don't know why this hasn't been done yet, but that's probably, it's one of my top 2 or 3 things that if I sat down with it, probably Universal, it's not even the band anymore.
Right.
But if I sat down with the powers to be at the record company and they're like, hey, Nick, you've been a fan now for like 40 something years. We just came out with this Destroyer box set. We're going to do these things. What's one personal thing that you got to have before you leave this earth? I would say you have to put a reunion tour package out. I know we got a screenshot Detroit thing on Kissology, but we never got any audio. I don't count the Millennium concert because that was on the farewell tour or whatever show they recorded or whatever audio they used for that thing. You know, I want them when they were hungry, when they were happy, when they were euphoric. I want that to feel that again.
Yeah.
And it's got to be that first year of that reunion tour.